If you enjoy the countryside on any level, whether you're horsey or you shoot, there's no doubt that you will have heard about the Game Fair. Now, this is a massive event that happens each July and alternates between Hatfield House and Ragley Hall at the moment, and it's phenomenal. I went last year for the first time because it was at Ragley Hall, which is fairly local to me, and just had the most incredible time and was in awe of the sheer size and scale of the operation. Not only is it an amazing shopping village, but there's so much more too. And I thought it'd be a great chance to catch up with the head of marketing, who is Gemma Payne, and see if she could fill us in on a bit of the behind the scenes details, what goes into organising an event, what great things have they got this year, and new initiatives we can look forward to. And thank goodness she agreed. So today on this podcast, we're talking to Gemma. Now, if you listen to it, please take a screenshot and tag myself at Ria Freeman PR and tag at the Game Fair too. It'd be really, really lovely to spread a bit more joy about this really cool event. And let me know if you've gone, if you've been before. I'd love to know. It's a fab event. I really, really loved it last year, and I'm really excited to share this interview with you where I get all the juicy gossip about what's going to happen this year and what goes into organising such a huge country event. So today I'm joined by a very special guest who is Gemma Payne. You might know Gemma as she has her own account on Instagram, or you may know her as the head of marketing for the Game Fair. So we have the pleasure of quizzing Gemma, that rhymed, today. And I'm going to start off by letting Gemma tell us a little bit about herself and how she got into the position she is working for the Game Fair.
It's really nice to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. As Ria said, I am head of marketing for the Game Fair. I've been here since 2016 when the CLA removed their backing and the event came under new management. So it will be my fourth event this year, very varied. I first came into events via an agricultural show locally, and I was their entry secretary. I've sort of been involved with horses and things for most of my life and the countryside, and from that it was sort of a stepping stone into launching other events. And then I wrote a speculative letter to James Gower, our managing director, and it was the perfect case of right place, right time.
Well, that's really good. Yeah, but it's a really nice journey to see as well, because you're now, I know you're going to tell me the footfall, but the event is massive. I went last year to the Ragley Hall one, and it's like on a different scale to anything I've ever been to before. The trade stand area was insane. I mean, it was a temperature of the sun there, which is clearly not your fault, but I had the best time. We obviously going to talk about the scale of it all, but it's a huge event, isn't it?
It really is, and it's been going for 61 years now, and it's really treasured by its visitors, its exhibitors, and everybody just knows it as an institution.
So getting to being in the position you are to this kind of scale of event must be quite a responsibility as well.
It is. I think a silly story. My first day, I walked into the office and there was a life-size cutout of Bear Grylls just stood next to my desk. I thought, I'm either going to love this or hate this. What have I walked into?
Wow.
And I loved it every second. I mean, there are challenges, of course, but it's such a varied role because we're quite a small team for the size of the event.
Yes. Why was Bear Grylls next to your desk? Sorry, we have got to explore this.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I ever got to the bottom of it.
I mean, it could be a lot worse.
Oh, yeah. There have been some singing fish and things as well in the office for long periods of time.
Wow. It sounds amazing. So what does like a typical day look like for you now? Because you said you're quite a small team. So I imagine that also means that you are head of marketing, but I imagine that means you get involved with a lot of other things as well.
I do. And actually, as the business has developed over the past 4 years, we're almost streamlining our roles. So these days I'm very much focused on marketing rather than getting involved in other things. But when we first took over and it was under new management, it was almost like we were a startup again, and it was everyone needed to know everything. I mean, communication is so important in any business, but particularly for one that was under that much pressure to deliver that event in such a short space of time after the CLA pulled out.
Yeah.
Typical day, there isn't really any typical day. There's lots of emails, there's lots of phone calls, lots of planning, lots of scheduling. At the moment, I've a huge amount of deadlines, which of course, because it's next month,
Yes.
yeah, it's full steam ahead, and the site team have moved on to build, and the majority of our marketing activity sort of kicks off 1st of July. I mean, we do so much, but that's really when the focus is, because you don't want to go too early, you don't want to burn your budgets too early, because people aren't in the frame of mind to be buying their tickets and their packages and their camping.
Yeah, I mean, as we're recording this, it is ridiculous weather as well. It is so rainy and so miserable, and obviously people do buy a lot very far in advance from the camping. I mean, I think I would still go to an event in the rain, but I don't like camping on a good day, personally. I'm a bit pathetic about that. So I imagine that's something that when the sun comes out, everyone goes, yeah, it'd be amazing.
Absolutely, but kind of the beauty of our audience is that we've got those core countryside people and the people that are out there, rain or shine, doing their thing, shooting, fishing, horse riding, whatever they're doing in the countryside, working their dogs. They're out there regardless, so they're going to go to an event regardless.
Completely. No, definitely. So can you talk to us a little bit about the marketing of such a big event? Because I know you said it starts in earnest the month of the event, but there are things that you have done a lot in advance as well, aren't there? It's not just it's July, let's do some stuff. It's things have been in the planning for an awfully long time.
No, actually we start planning, well, I've started planning for when it's at Ragley Hall in 2020 already. So a lot of our advert booking and a lot of our bulk media buying is already sort of starting. We use a media agency to buy a lot of our outdoor, so we're back on the tubes and on train cards as well, because of the proximity to Hatfield House to London. It's around 30 minutes from King's Cross, so that's a huge potential audience, and it's something like 80% of UK's wealth is within a 90-minute drive time of Hatfield House. So it's, for exhibitors, it's amazing. Back to marketing. We also use a PR agency, so communications comes under my remit too. And of course, we can't just start that in July. That's an ongoing thing. It's from September, building momentum, getting stories out there, getting people listening and sort of engaged with what we're doing, any new things, even old favourites, but with new twists. I mean, as I was saying, it's such a loved and cherished event that's been going for so long. There's always something different, and we have to innovate. So there's loads to talk about, loads to tell people about.
Now, when I went to Ragley Hall last year, and as you said, you're at Hatfield House this year, and you alternate between the two, don't you? So it's either one year or it's the other. And there are so many elements to it that, so it's on a huge scale, but there's lots of different sort of, I'm going to call it zoning, probably not the right word, but can you talk about how that works? Because there's the most amazing food area, and I tried a pheasant goujon for the first time, and it was incredible. And I've never tried that before, but it's quite an unusual foodie area. It's not just like get a burger, it's amazing. But how does the zoning work? Where do people, how does it all work, the planning of the whole event?
So when we look at estates to take the game fair to, historically it's roamed around the country sort of almost on a 4 or 5 year rotation. So it's been places like Belvoir Castle, Harewood House, Blenheim, all sorts of places. But to try and sort of secure it for future planning, for the first 6 years, we have said we'll alternate between Ragley Hall in Warwickshire and Hatfield House in Hertfordshire. Both have amazing transport links, and the soil is right.
So that helps.
It really is.
An outdoor event.
Yeah. In terms of the zoning, we've got so many different areas. I mean, the key ones are Gunmakers Row, your high-end retail, land management, fishing village, the Totally Food, which you mentioned, which is all sort of artisan gourmet stuff that's home produced, not mass produced Burgerland type things.
Nice.
Onto your gun dogs, your gamekeepers row, your hooked on horses area, village, and then we've also got new things this year like gin makers row, which is a travel and destinations area, because actually through our post-show research we found that people wanted that sort of exhibitor at the game fair. They wanted to be able to book sort of almost sporting holidays, and we've got some amazing exhibitors that do riding holidays which just look fantastic. And then of course you've got the sort of dove shooting, wing shooting things in Spain, Argentina, and some amazing looking fishing holidays as well. I think the biggest thing this year that we're doing is Game Fair Gardens, which is totally new for us, in partnership with Capel Manor and Charles Stanley Wealth Management as the sponsor. We're building this garden which spans over an acre.
Wow.
It's well, we've been told it's the largest one ever attempted, and it's already looking like a proper garden.
So what is that all about? What's in the garden? Why is it different? Why have you gone down that route? So
the garden is harking back to what the game fair is all about. So it's about sustainability, food sources. It incorporates things like the formal planting that you'd see at stately homes, but also kitchen garden things and even little things like window boxes. So it all needs to be able to translate from a huge garden onto somebody's balcony. So we want it to encompass all of that. Capel Manor are a land-based college, relatively local to Hatfield House. So they are delivering it with their students. And the senior lecturer there is a RHS Chelsea gold medalist. Her name's Julie Dalbiggin. So she's working incredibly hard to deliver this garden with her students, and just it's a real nice team effort. And there's also a legacy aspect. So a lot of the plants are going to it's a care home that's locally, that's just being developed now. So it's a new thing for the area.
Oh wow, I love that.
Give some of those, because the whole of the event has to be dismantled in the month after. And it would be such a shame to have all this gorgeous planting and everything that we're using, even they're putting up a dry stone wall and things like that. So yeah, some of that's going to local charities and local centres.
And how will people be able to appreciate the garden? Can they walk around it? How does it work in terms of how can people, do they look at it? I'm not a gardening person. How does it work?
Completely immersive experience. It's got 4 entrances. You can walk through it, get involved, speak to the lecturers, speak to all the students that built it. There's even a cut flower workshop, and there's a gardens theatre within it doing some little talks. I think there's some beekeeping talks, and a little kitchen in there too. So there's so much going on.
That sounds incredible. And it's nice as well, because it obviously is very much connected to the game fair, but it's a little bit different. As you say, you've introduced the gin makers row, which sounds amazing. The travel and the holiday, it's all really nicely connected, but just goes outside just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes people might not appreciate that the game fair isn't just guns. It's a lot more than just, I think people think game, they think game shooting, which is, obviously I know that is a big part of it, but there is so much there. Even if you adore seeing dogs work and that's it, you'll still get a massive amount from going.
Huge amount. I mean, we worked out how many dogs actually attend the event, and it's around 60,000 over the 3 days, and that's just dogs.
Oh my goodness. Well, when we were
somebody who's got their pet dog with them, or whether they're bringing a working dog to have a go at the scurries or the pickup, there's so much going on.
When I came last year, Mackenzie and Georgia, clients of mine, they have a lovely stand at the game fair, and I met up with a friend of mine who actually been here photographing me the day before, bless her, Sophie Callahan, and Emma Warren from Hi Ho Silver. And we lost Emma for quite a portion of the morning because she had been drawn to, I'm going to say the name right now, is it a Sealyham Terrier?
Terrier, yeah. That's the one.
And we lost her. And she was, when we found her again, she was, because I think they're quite rare, aren't they? Or their numbers are quite low.
Yeah. We've got this working dog pavilion as well, which is almost a showcase for 20 of the rarest working dog breeds. So they're from all over Europe, all different breeds. There's a huge list. I struggle to remember all of them.
I mean, basically, if Emma goes this year, I imagine she's going to just be in there. Just for
the gin makers row.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But they had these dogs, and they also had various different hounds. They had foxhounds, basset hounds. There was a lot of, again, from thinking about if you take your family, all the dogs were absolutely lovely. That, you know, they're obviously, you know, in pens, but they were all absolutely lovely. And I loved seeing. You do see quite a few children as well at the game fair. Very well behaved, actually. My children aren't that well behaved. But you do see the children getting involved, and the things like all the dogs and the hounds they can go and see is such a lovely part of that too.
Yeah, I think we split our audience into 3, maybe 4 tenuously groups. So it's your core countryside people, your aspirationals. So a lot of that will be the local area, and also the city people, particularly for this venue. And then, of course, it's families and day trippers. So when we were at Hatfield House last time in 2017, 30% of the attendants had never been to a game fair at all. So that's an amazing sort of shop window that our event is for countryside, and particularly the real countryside. And it is a bit gritty. It's not all fluffy and petting rabbits and stuff. There's a massive working element to it, and people's livelihoods depend on it. So we want to educate and make sure that everyone has a great day out at the game fair, and make sure that we're here for another 60 years, of course.
You're right. And again, I think you obviously you mentioned the one of the theatres within the garden, but you do have other like live events going on in addition to the shopping village, in addition to the working dog areas, don't you? Can you talk to us a little about the different talks you have going on?
We've got so much going on. The falconry area also has a little seminar tent as well, and an education tent. So they've got their own dedicated flying ring for all of their birds of prey. So that's separate to their displays in the main arena. So if you go down to the falconry area, there's all of those sort of live events. You can get involved, sort of get up close to them. Apparently you're not allowed to stroke them, or not supposed to stroke them. It does something to their feathers.
I'm not a big bird fan, if I'm honest. Pretty scared of birds.
The Cartagenas Game Fair Theatre is kind of the more serious side. So it talks about real countryside issues. There's debates on, of course, the general licence issue that's coming on recently. There'll be all sorts of land use sort of seminars and things, but there is a slightly light-hearted aspect because it's run by a chap called Charlie Jacoby, who is a Field Sports Channel TV presenter. So yes, he's quite a character. So he makes it light-hearted and fun, but we want it to be a platform for debate. I mean, it has to have some sort of serious side, but it's definitely thought-provoking and interesting. We've of course got the main arena as well, which has your Shetland Pony Grand National, more falconry displays, hound parades, some scurry driving this year.
Were there camels in it last year?
Yes.
As those words were coming out of my mouth, I thought, if it isn't, you are going to look like you've lost your mind. But I'm sure I did like a quadruple take across.
They were part of the twinning ceremony with our partners for the Falconry Village. They are from Qatar, so they run a falconry and hunting exhibition in Doha. So they're our partner for the falconry area. So yes, there's the mini ring as well, which is the Horses and Hounds mini ring. So that's all the hound parades, local pony clubs. In the past, there have been vaulting displays, and actually, I think that's happening this year. Yeah, I need to double check on that. Gamekeeper's area has a new feature, which is the night vision and optics deck. So it's for scopes, optics, rangefinders, all those important kit. The clay line is just incredible. I should use its proper name, the Subaru shooting line. It's run by the world-renowned shooting ground EJ Churchill, and the multi-European and world FITAS champion George Digweed MBE is designing the layout. So anyone that comes and has a go at clay shooting at the game fair will be shooting that course, which is quite an accolade.
Wow.
And it's great. There's all instructors there. You don't have to have ever shot before. It's so hands-on, and everyone's really sort of supportive, and you can just have a go. And you can also have a go at fly casting, fly fishing, with instructors, all qualified, no equipment needed, just turn up, have a go.
Wow.
I love it.
Gosh, so I was going to ask you about the USPs, but I think we've covered. I mean, I don't know if there's another event like this on this scale. Is there?
No.
Scale
and quality, we say, because the gun dogs. Yes, there are other gun dog competitions going on around the country, but we have the Euro Challenge, which is teams from around Europe come to the game fair to compete for this prize, which is incredible, and then the Home International Challenge, which is obviously teams from this country. But yeah, it's world-class competition, world-class content, and yeah, it's the biggest and the best. I have to say that in the country, possibly in Europe.
And I think all the different aspects as well. There really is something for everybody. If you're a serious shooter, is that even a phrase? Serious shooter?
Okay.
Whether it's game or clays, or whether you just want to appreciate the countryside more and see what's going on, see what it's all about, just go for a good day shopping. There really is something for everybody, and lots of people together can go their separate ways and appreciate different aspects too.
Yeah, there's just a massive sort of community feel to the event. If you go onto the campsite in the evening, it's just almost magical. It's just everyone loves the countryside. It's there because they're like-minded. They all sort of driving for the same things, want to protect it for the future. Yeah, it's a great thing. Makes me smile.
So when I've been to, obviously I with Game for last year, as I said, and I go to badminton every year and other horse trials as well, there is this really lovely feel when you go to events like this, that you're sort of amongst people who have the same values that you do. And it's, even though you don't know everybody there clearly, it doesn't feel at all threatening. It feels very inclusive, and
yeah,
it's a really lovely vibe. Had the best time. It was lovely. And that was because of the atmosphere, because of everything that was there. And it's a really lovely vibe, I think, when you're there. And there was just so much to take in. I think I could have spent the whole of the event there. I only went on one day, and I would probably still have not covered it. It was huge, wasn't it?
There's always stuff that I miss. I mean, I'm working throughout the event in the press office and other bits and pieces, but I never get to see everything. I think that's the nature of working these events. I'd love to go to the game fair as a visitor again, one day.
So if you're giving any tips for visitors, whether they've been before, or maybe if they haven't been before and they don't really know, they want to get a bit more information, have you got any tips that you could give people?
Arrive early. Get yourself a show guide, because it has a pocket map in it. And it has all the features and all the timetables. If you order your tickets in advance, you can also order your show guide in advance, so you get it sent digitally, so you can really plan out what you want to do. And all the exhibitors are detailed on there as well, so you can pick out your favourites, go and see them. And I mean, it's amazing to stumble across people, but if there's specific people and things you want to see, make sure you plan it.
And that's a really good point, because it is easy to miss people just because of the scale of the place, and also almost finding your best route round. So if there's different people in different zones, planning your route to get there.
Comfortable shoes. Stay hydrated.
Yes, I'm all for hydration. It is a game changer, but also so many delicious, probably alcoholic things to drink there. It is important to keep your water levels up, so you can enjoy these things and not feel like you really should have drunk the water.
I mean, enjoy it. We've got VIP enclosure packages as well, and James Martin, the chef, is doing the menus, and he'll be there cooking and mingling as well. And yeah, he's a nice chap.
Which is always nice, always good.
Helps.
Where are you on all of the places? What's your website, your different social media platforms? How can people find you?
We are www.gamefair.org. We're on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, also LinkedIn, and we're at the Game Fair.
Excellent.
Looking forward to seeing you there.
Yes, I need to get myself organised. Well, that's just an ongoing theme, but I do. But that's been brilliant. Thank you so much for chatting to me. And we're going to run a little competition as well, aren't we? Which will be launching the evening that this comes out. So people need to look at my Instagram for that. And, it's good.
Win it.
Too right you have. Thank you so much for letting me speak to you today, and all the best with the event. I cannot wait to see it this year and next year when it's up much more local to me too.
Thank you so much.